This is the face of the biggest scumbag I think we've seen in Megalobox to date. And there's been scumbags, don't get me wrong. But this is a man who treated, I would argue, the most inspiring character that this anime has seen, Chief, like a disposable rag. Not only is he the reason our man died, he was delivering so many illegal punches to the back of the head that, holy shit, the strength of this man to keep going on. And if it wasn't for Mio coming in, cheering him on, he probably would have died in the ring. But he held on to a hope for their future. Even after losing everything, he wanted to give his other sections of his family something to believe in. The amount of pain this man went through to give his people their own land in a country that he brought them to in hopes to give them a brighter future. And this scumbag punching him in the back of the head, which was already illegal to begin with, but the fact that they have equipment that increases their speed and power, the amount of brain damage or just internal injuries he must have suffered in that fight is ridiculous. There was death flags throughout this entire episode. I thought he was potentially going to die in the fire last week. But I like how they handled their death, because I don't know if I'm the only one thinking this. When he went to sleep in his truck, I thought that old man with his little puppy was going to send someone to kill him. I thought when they saw his body, there was a knife wound, a bullet wound, something. But the fact that he just died in his sleep, it shouldn't have happened. But I'm glad it happened with him going to bed, hoping that, when he wakes up, the dream isn't over. Maybe in this world, there is a form of afterlife. Maybe, he'll get to be with his family again. It doesn't matter if there is or isn't, because no matter what, he wakes up and gets to see his family again. Or he gets to go to bed knowing that he gave a living family a chance to survive. There's been some emotional things this season. To Your Eternity is a tearjerker. But this right here, it got me. It really, really did. Megalobox is one of my favorite stories in the anime medium, and honestly, the remainder of this season could be trash, and I would say season 2 was worthwhile. The story that Chief was able to deliver in a short month, 4 episodes, this man, in his vision, this is a type of storytelling you don't get to see in anime too often, and it was handled so flawlessly. There's sequels that come out, and you wonder, oh, it's just going to be more of the same. And then there's sequels like Megalobox that tell something completely different. Rather than putting the focus on the Megalobox and the boxing is pretty realistic. It's jabs, it's punches, it's dodges, keeping your distance, blocks. It's still flashy, but it's not quite as flashy as the first season. But it's done so intentionally. We're looking at someone who's very strong-willed and is good at boxing, but also is up there in age. And to just see him throughout this match, and he was losing his cool for obvious reasons. There was some pretty nasty racist shit said towards him, and had Joe not been there, he probably would have been disqualified. And the way he kept having to fight, losing his composure, and he has a smile that just invokes passion. When he starts smiling and admits to his mistakes, or he doesn't get angry and he smiles, there's only so many people in the world who have that kind of composure. And Chief, if he's losing his cool, someone's a scumbag. But the fact that he was able to keep his cool and what he was able to accomplish in this fight, it was tragically beautiful. The scene afterwards where they're just drinking, they're having fun, and, when he tells Joe that he's his family too, god damn did that hit me. Joe is a character who has seemingly lost everything, and he made a promise to Chief that if he wins, that he would stop running himself. And to see him not shake his hand, but hug him, and the fact that Joe embraced him, I didn't expect how emotional a character like Chief would be. Because when you're trying to introduce new fan-favorite characters, because that's always the intention, right? You've made this great cast of characters, we're going to try to keep doing it. You don't really do so that often. I actually thought when I really started liking Chief, being I think he's one of, if not my favorite Megalobox characters, I thought a lot of people would say, what are you saying? Are you forgetting Nambu? Are you forgetting this and that? But I've seen a lot of people have a similar feeling that this is one of the best written Megalobox characters. And that goes to show how good his arc was. How emotional. I think any character trying to fight for others' freedom is a very easy character to root for, but I think the thing that made him so amazing is the fact that he was so selfless, that no matter what bad happened to him or others, he shouldered the blame and he would just keep trying to fix and fix. When people were hostile towards him, he didn't punch back. He said, I will win money for our place. And I'm sure they might still have some issues, and that might be something that will happen maybe in the third act of this season, because I have a feeling now that the first act over, we're going to go back with Joe trying to kind of mend everything that happened, with maybe the third act being Joe in the ring one last time. But for right now, they own the land. Mio separated himself from the people who he realized, he was a shitty person, but it's understandable how he got that way given the racism that was thrown against him and him wanting to fit in. And the fact that one of his friends was actually like, get a haircut. It shows that, there was some genuine friendship in that group, even if some were just complete scumbags. So, for now, we can leave that section believing that is good. And the fact that they gave him his equipment, not the gloves, but the equipment, it was something that you felt like was going to happen. I just felt like Chief was going to do it willingly. Like, hey, take on my equipment for now, keep its legacy going for the time being. But, Megalobox, one of the most emotional episodes I've seen in the anime medium. I really feel that way. I love this show. I think it's a masterpiece. It's so good. And I knew Megalobox Season 2 would be my personal pick for my top anime of the season. Even if there was other anime that I looked at and said, honestly, I think this is better well written or better directed, whatever it is, Megalobox is a fan favorite for me, right? It's just everything I love. And these 4 episodes have really made it easy for me to claim that I just love it so much. And the music, while it doesn't go as intense as maybe season 1, it does go as emotional, which makes a level of excitement it eats away at you. When the end credits start playing, it's hard not to shed a tear. This episode, it was brutal. It was emotional, but I honestly think the biggest takeaway is it was inspiring. That a man gave everything for his people, and a man who, the first interaction with Chief and Joe, would you have ever thought they would become like brothers? No, but they really did, and that's why I'm kind of happy that rather than it just being a sob goodbye, there was tears, there was people upset, but people were smiling. People were saying, he may have went to bed and not been able to see this come to fruition, but he knew it was going to happen. The money that he won would buy their land. It's just holy shit, this is an episode. I know I'm a little more emotional than analytical than usual, but it's hard not to be. I love this show. I am so excited to see the next act and where it will go with Joe's story. And I'm glad that Joe hasn't fallen back off the wagon. I'm glad that rather than going what I thought could happen, Chief forfeiting a match for money, no, Chief won and died for that money, and rather than Joe going back to the drugs, he's trying to be a clean person to keep Chief's legacy going, and never making him disappointed from beyond the grave, right? Let me know your thoughts and feelings on this heavy episode. What did you think, and how do you feel about Chief as a character? Would you rank him as one of your favorites, or just let me know, if he's not your absolute favorite, who would you rank above him? Something like that. Let me know your feelings down below, drop a like to show you support, and hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.